Returning to a previous story where we told that the Lagos State Police Command has totally restricted vehicular movement for Saturday's local government elections here in Lagos State. And joining us now in the studio is Benjamin Hundeyin, the Police Public Relations Officer of Lagos State. You're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Good to have you here. So let's talk about the preparations the police is making or are making for Saturday. We've heard the restrictions on vehicular movements. If you would please give us more detail regarding these vehicles that are being restricted or who exactly is allowed to move on Saturday for the local government elections.
Thank you very much. So earlier today, this morning, we issued a statement detailing what the restriction of movement would actually entail. And what it really means is that there will be total restriction of movement for people on the roads and on the waterways. But there are certain exemptions, and that's the LASIEC officials, election observers, and essential workers like ambulances, fire trucks, and the police and security agencies. Also, for some other categories of people, maybe telecom operators who are going to fix a mast that is broken down, yes, for such people, there would be identification tags already prepared for that kind of purpose. So apart from this categories of people, there will be no movement allowed.
It was very ambiguous when it regarded press, so we're wondering, are press also allowed to move around?
Yes. Gentlemen of the press are allowed as long as they have their identification tag specifically issued for this election.
Okay, very interesting. So many people heard or saw the circular on the X page for the Nigerian Police Force, read through it and everything, but people still think that it's going to still be the same game as usual. The elections are going to come, the police might be out there, but it's still going to happen like it's always happened. People have queried previous elections and said whoever wants to win will win. There might be violence here or there. It's just going to happen. There's a sense of despondency when it comes to the general overview for citizens of Lagos State. What do you have to say regarding that?
It's quite okay if we have pockets of doubts here and there, but we are here to say that we've perfected our plans, and we've met with LASIEC and other security agencies. We've also got additional police officers from outside Lagos State to show up the numbers, and we have taken cognizance of every single polling unit. So we can assure Lagosians that security has been fully emplaced. This is Wednesday, that's like 3 days to the elections, and already we have perfected our plans. And it's so robust that we are not even withdrawing our deployment immediately after the election. They'll still be there. So we're talking about pre-election, election, and post-election. So people have no reason to fear. Things will go fine, there will be peace, and we'll try our best to ensure that the elections are credible.
So you spoke about other security agencies. What sister agencies are being consulted when it comes to security for Saturday? Okay,
so for this Saturday elections, we are using or we are collaborating with just federal security agencies, federal government-owned security agencies. So state-owned security agencies will not be allowed to participate in the election. They will also not be allowed to move around on that day. The restriction of movements also is binding on them. So just federal government security agencies.
When it comes to the matter of prohibition of escorts, armed escorts to polling units, what's that like? What's that going to be like? Would it just be restricted within the state or for other polling units outside?
Okay, so it's also included in our statement. We do not want firearms around the polling units. So even the police officers that will be posted to the polling units are not armed, and VIPs that will be coming to cast their votes are not allowed to come with armed officers. So that's the conclusion we have reached at our last ISES meeting. ISES is the Interconsultative Committee on Election Security. So at the last meeting, that was the conclusion. So it will not be allowed.
Okay. Then there's the matter of the signing of the peace agreement within the parties. Does it disturb you that some parties are yet to sign this or did not sign this when this was presented to them today?
Well, this is not, it is not exactly a requirement for vying for any position. It's just something that you do to show good faith. So if some parties do not sign it, well, it's a bit worrisome, but that would not deter us from ensuring that there's total peace. In our statement, we made it clear that any politician or contestant who does not rein in on his supporters and dissuade them from engaging in violence, such thugs or anybody who goes against the law will definitely be promptly arrested and will be prosecuted. So, peace pact or not, the full extent of the law will be deployed for the election.
I'm afraid I must ask this. Now, in previous elections, we've seen situations where there are security agents at polling units, but still you find thugs, in quote, in these polling units performing nefarious activities, scaring people away or, even harming people. How would this be addressed come Saturday election?
For this election, we have set up a control room. In that control room, we have the police and other sister security agencies. We have a representative from the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Civil Defense, the DSS. So it's a joint control room. And that's to ensure that we monitor the entire length and breadth of the state. So we already anticipate, or we are prepared. Let me not say anticipate, we are prepared, because we've also studied previous outings, our previous outings during election security. So we know the things that would happen, and we are prepared for that. So in the event that thugs come up to want to disrupt the elections, yes, we have backup teams that will be responding. I can quickly add that the Inspector General of Police approved the deployment of additional 8,000 police officers to Lagos State to complement the number we have here. So we have a good number of police officers, and they will be deployed. We are doing 4 security personnel per polling unit, 4. So if it happens, we can assure you that we have a backup team to respond swiftly.
All right. Okay. Well, very interesting there. I'm still wondering what responsibilities individuals have when they meet these kinds of instances at these polling units. How do they respond? What authorities do they send their messages to, if they have to?
Yeah, it's quite interesting because we have representatives, party agents for all of the parties there. They are also part of the IPAC, Inter-Party Advisory Council. They've had a series of meetings with us, so they know the numbers to call, the party agents in particular. And for other voters, Nigerians that are there and would see something and would like to call our attention and say something, also in our statement this morning, we issued the control room numbers. And not to forget that the short code 767 still works in Lagos State in particular.
767?
Yes, that short code works. And you can always reach out to us in case of an emergency.
All right. Well, Benjamin, it's great to have you here. But then again, there is that issue about the gang violence in Mushi. I was wondering if you could give us a straight-up update right now about what's happened. We gather that one person was killed. Am I correct?
Yes, sometime last week on Wednesday, yes. A child was killed. Following that, a raid was carried out in Mushi, and after background investigation, we were able to locate some of these miscreants, and a raid was carried out. 52 persons were arrested, 52 suspects. So we did further investigation on them, and the culpable ones have already been arraigned. As I speak to you, they've been arraigned. And this continuous work we're doing in Mushi to ensure that we rid that area totally of crime, criminality, especially cultism.
No. Benjamin Hundeyin, Police Public Relations Officer, thank you very much for joining us on the news.
Thank you for having me on the program today.
You're welcome.